Hi, welcome back. It's Debbie with the Question Queens. Hopefully that's not too loud. One of the people in the comments said I should watch this interview. It's Megyn Kelly with Tom MacDonald. And I'm really interested because I've actually not heard Tom MacDonald say anything. I've heard him sing, which I absolutely love. But I feel like I'm going to get to kind of know him a different side. Well, who he really is. So kind of behind the scenes. Anyway, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, if you could do that right now, and the like button, I know you're going to like the video. Anyway, so let's get right to it and see what happens.
Listening to hip hop and, growing up a fan of it and listening to a lot of it, it wasn't exactly the healthiest place for you. I mean, this is what you address in Dear Rappers in 2016, which I understand it was like your first big exposure.
You never know.
And
Right.
I think that's worth spending a minute on. So, because I don't listen to a lot of hip hop, I have to be honest.
I didn't think so.
What I hear, I agree. It's not the most uplifting messages. It's like country's like got sad songs that have like a positive message at the end, like heartbreak, but it'll take you to the good place in the end. My impression of a lot of the hip hop songs is like you say, like it's about money and it's about drugs and it's about things that we shouldn't be valuing. And it's not to say it drove you into this dark place, but it sounds like it certainly didn't help.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Dear Rappers was about. The first song that sort of blew me up in 2016. It was it's about the music and the lifestyle that it sort of influences. It's younger demographic to have. Like I haven't looked into the hip hop demographic recently. But I remember a couple of years ago when I looked into it, it was like 14 to 20-year-old white American youth. I mean, that's pretty young. Like, there's pretty young, pretty influential kids. Yeah. To somewhere things took a turn. Like, it used to, hip hop traditionally was about, fighting the power and being against the man and having your voice heard. And, there was a lot of it spoke a lot about a lot of social issues and power to the people and stuff in its beginnings. And then somewhere along the way, it sort of like started veering into, it was ultra sort of violent, and you had like sort of the gangster era of everything. And then it kind of went from there into this new version of what hip hop is, which is a hyper commercial marketing vehicle for a bunch of different products. And it seems to lean pretty heavily on like prescription pill abuse and party culture and like all of these things. And it's sort of evolved, not all hip hop, but a lot of hip hop.
A lot of
it.
It
sort of morphed in. Yeah. It's sort of morphed into that zone. And for me, I'm looking up to these guys as, I want to be a musician one day. And I think that these guys are cool, and I'm looking up to them and their actions and what they're telling me is cool is influencing the way that I'm living my life. Whether immediately on the surface or subconsciously, it's having some sort of effect on me. And then, when Dear Rappers happened, to bring it full circle, I was living in like an old rundown shack with mice and cockroaches in the house in a less than savory neighborhood in South Central. And there's water coming through my ceiling, and my girlfriend and I like can't afford groceries and rent, every month. It's like a lot of times we're having to make the choice. A lot of times we're living by candlelight for 4 days because we can't keep the power on. I told people a lot of times, like, it just sticks out of my mind. I used to plug my fridge into an extension cord and run the cord out the back door and plug it into my neighbor's garage so the food didn't spoil when our power got cut off. So it was grim. And like, it was not totally the result of me treating myself poorly, and but it definitely contributed. So at that point, I remember turning on the computer or the radio or whatever it was, and hearing a a big sort of mainstream rapper, one of these entities that I had looked up to in the past, and I heard them sort of like complaining about their life. And for whatever reason, it really irritated me, because I was like, yo, you're somebody that I look up to. You have, at that point in time, from my perspective, you have everything that I would give anything to get a taste of.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear you complaining. So I literally, it was like, I think God must have been looking down on me that day, because I had half a cigarette left, and I've since quit smoking, but I went and sat on the front porch with this half a cigarette and started smoking. And by the time that cigarette was done, I just started writing Dear Rappers. And I started writing this sort of open letter to the hip hop community, about what I was seeing, from the outside looking in. And it didn't take any longer than 15 minutes. I don't even remember stopping to think about any of the words. It was like,
wow.
It was seriously like God knew that I was in a situation, and he like spoke through me for 15 minutes. It was the easiest song I ever wrote. And it was the song that changed mine and Nova's lives. I remember getting up from the stair and walking into the house, and I said, Nova, I just wrote the song that's going to change everything.
Wow. All right, wait.
Yeah.
Let's not keep the audience in suspense any longer. Let's let them hear just a bit of Dear Rappers. This is Soundbite 8.
These days it's like you don't have nothing left. Your music feels kind of like you're trying to write a check. Everything is digital, I mean no disrespect, but I'm paying even more and you give me even less. What the fuck? You taught me to think, you taught me to grow, you taught me the things to survive on my own, but now you teach me to drink, you teach me to smoke, you teach me to think. Every woman's a hoe. I don't want
That's
your
right, I'm not a hoe.
bars or your fancy foreign cars. Throw your money in my face and
Okay, so it didn't hit me until like a couple nights ago when I was laying there almost asleep what Xanax bars meant. Okay, I might be slow sometimes. Yeah, that one took a little bit. But I get it now.
try to tell me that it's art. No.
Such a good song.
Yeah, just a drug addict on TV.
That's awesome. It's all up in your face.
What I love about your songs is you're very open about yourself, your journey, your views. And that brings me to flash forward, a few years later, Sober, where you decided to make some different choices after those ones we just discussed and change your life. And I went and looked at the comments to the song online, and it's beautiful. Like the number of people you've helped with this song. And I can see, especially for guys, oftentimes they don't want to admit weakness. They don't want to admit, they're struggling. You're coming to terms with an alcohol addiction or a drug addiction. It's very hard. You don't want to give up the thing, and you don't want to admit that you're too weak to give up the thing. And Sober was incredibly powerful and very revealing. This came in 2020. This has got 13 million views. And let's just listen to a bit of that. It's Soundbite 11.
What up, y'all? My name's Tom. Little while back was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin. Damn. After the hooker I loved, after I did all the drugs, after I finally got fired for showing up late to the job, hella tired and drunk. After the oxys, I put up my nose with my boss on the oil rigs when I was young. After my ex cut her wrists and the cops thought I stabbed her and beat me, then put me in cuffs. After I totaled my car trying to run from the cops with a kilo of coke in the trunk. After I drank till I rotted my teeth on my head, got infections in all of my gums. After I couldn't get hard cause the vodka and porno sedated me till I was numb. After I couldn't escape from the basement I rented and went to go live with my mom. After I cheated on people I needed and lied trying to hide from the guy that I was. Then I got sober, the madness was over. Now I am proud of the man I become.
That is amazing. That's amazing poetry, lyricism, music, all of it. And that clearly came from someplace deep, Tom.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that in a long time.
Look, it got him.
Yeah. It's just so scary to look back at that time in my life and know that I was so close to, pardon me, I was so close to not making it out of that. Like, it's horrifying to look back on. I probably haven't listened to that song in, 2 years. That's always been a difficult one. I probably haven't listened to it since around the time that I wrote it. A lot of those songs are difficult to like write, you know, and then they're horrifying to put out into the world because you're just you're being totally vulnerable to it, like millions of strangers, which is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
So after you kind of get through that, those phases, writing it down, putting it out into the world, you feel like you sort of cross the finish line, and sometimes you just don't ever want to look back. So
But you did it, you know, like for a reason, you know, and maybe you don't know what the reason is at the time. I know you say you do it for yourself. You do it for your fans too. You're not doing it for money. You're not writing about pimps and hoes and all that. You know, like you're writing about real shit, like that you personally are going through, and you've emerged as like, forgive me, because I know you don't want to be seen as like right wing or left wing, but like to me, you're almost like a Jordan Peterson in a way. Inflation is out of control.
Oh my goodness.
One area
all right, well, that was pretty amazing. You see him get all choked up, man, that made me cry. You're all gonna think I'm like the cryingest person. Well, I kind of am. I can't help it. I love people. I do. And God love him for putting it out there. And what he inspired me to do tonight, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so here's what I did. I rewatched the video and I thought of my family. I thought of my mom. I thought of the backlash. I thought of people's judgments, negative. I can't believe you just put that out there and told everybody our business. Our business. Not my business. Not my life. Anyway, so after I hit the upload, and you have to go through the little prompts, and you have to hit publish, and I just sat there and looked at it, and I'm like, okay, my chest is hurting really bad, and I hit it, and I got up, and I walked away. Now, I can delete it, but when I came back and it was out there and it already had a view, it had one view, I'm like, oh my gosh, someone has just seen what I just said. And I just said, I just bared everything, completely vulnerable, all like, I would imagine he feels something like that seeing that video after that long. Just not looking back on that. Yes, I overcame it. Yes, he overcame his issues. But you never, ever, ever want to be that close to it ever again. And we all know what it feels like to be close to it. And if we're very lucky and find our strength, we run completely in the opposite direction. And to be reminded that that's where we were is really hard. Anyway, that's the video. Yes, I'm up, and I'm probably going to make a few more videos. I'm so happy. You all have made me the happiest person this week. Hopefully you'll get to also see some more videos of my friend Poppy. I haven't uploaded any because Tuesday I was actually really sick coming back, and I came back here. I'm in Myrtle Beach, but I'm actually from Louisville, Kentucky. So did a little too much over the holidays, wore myself out, and was in bed for several days. So anyway, I will see you all really soon. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that right now. There's more to come and you don't want to miss it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.